Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. We're changing gears and heading to the NFL. We're going to take a look at Indianapolis as they travel to play the Green Bay Packers. Guys, on the surface, when you think about Andrew Luck and Aaron Rodgers, you're going to think about a lot of points. And coming off last week, Green Bay and Atlanta, they put up some points last week, 65 of them, 33-32. Green Bay come up on the short end there. Tony, what do you make of Green Bay this year? You know, at times they've looked very good, and at other times the offenses look stagnant. Now, last week they got it going, but what do you think laying points at home here against Indianapolis?
A lot of different ways to look at this. 4-2 and 1, depending on what your book or what your number was, is what Green Bay is against the spread compared to a 3-4. Green Bay doesn't have a big margin covering the spread. I think it's a little over 2 this year compared to negative for Indy. I'm not a big fan of Indy. I don't believe that they've done much in the offseason to upgrade their personnel. Their offensive line is porous. Their secondary is pedestrian, middling at best. They're possibly going to be without one of their better cover corners this weekend. They don't have an explosive running back. And when it comes to handicapping Indianapolis, a lot of it has to do with situational venue. And inside the dome, and they couldn't beat the second stringers for Kansas City last week. A secondary that's missing Smith, that's, by the way, probably hurt this weekend for Oakland. T.J. Hilton, bad ankle, did come back and play a little bit last week against Kansas City after a big first half, but Andrew Luck had his chance to win a game. Should have won a game last week against Kansas City. Really, facing a team that doesn't pressure the quarterback, that's Andrew Luck's and this offensive line's best chance of winning. They don't run the football very well. Without T.Y. Hilton, they're going to struggle. I think situationally in Lambeau, Green Bay -7 is a big number to give against Andrew Luck, but Andrew Luck can't do it all. He can't do it all himself, and he doesn't have much help.
Ralphie, pretty much Tony described what the Indianapolis Colts have been the last several years. No offensive line, no defense. Got to rely on Andrew Luck, and sometimes, the back door is always open with the Colts. They never give up. But this Green Bay team, are we going to see the explosive Green Bay offense, or are we going to see the offense that we saw the first 4 or 5 games of the season when they were just barely getting to 20?
You know, Rodgers told us to relax. He knew the offense was going to be there. They've had their injuries. You know, and last week, you look what they did to Atlanta. It wasn't shocking. They were without their top 3 cornerbacks. They were without Clay Mathis. They were without Eddie Lacy. They were without Randall Cobb, and yet they still put up some points. So Green Bay coming back at home, I'm fine with them. You know, you got them in a situation where they've been there, they've done that. The difference with the Colts is they're putting all their eggs into this basket. You know, head coach Chuck Pagano said, this week is our defining moment. So just to note to the viewers, if Indy loses and he's putting all his eggs in this basket, I would look to play against them from here on out. Couple things about Green Bay. It's in Lambeau, and it's tough to play in Lambeau. Green Bay's 9-3-1 ATS in non-division games as a home favorite. Teams coming in there aren't used to playing the Lambeau. There's still a mystique about there. Green Bay's last 9 wins at home have all been by 7 points or more. So I'm not saying they've won 9 straight, but when they do win games, they've won them all by 7 points. So covering a 7-point spread doesn't worry me in this situation. Green Bay's getting healthier, but the biggest stat in this game is Indy is last in the NFL in sack percentage. Luck has been sacked 22 times the last 5 games. Green Bay's defense is number 5 in the league in defensive sack percentage. Huge mismatch with no time to throw and a banged up, even though Green Bay's secondary is still banged up, with no time to throw, no quarterback can complete those passes.
No, I got to agree with you. And last week, if you look at the game against Atlanta, there were 65 points in that game. Neither team topped 400 yards in total offense, yet it was a 33-32 game, and there were no turnovers. I mean, when you see that many points and not that many yards, you think, okay, well, there was a turnover, a quick score or something. It wasn't. So, I think the last week's game, a little bit misleading. I actually was on the over in that game, more so because I knew Green Bay was going to have problems running the football, that they would be throwing more in the game. That's why I was leaning towards the over, and the Atlanta defense, I think, is overrated. We're seeing them get exposed. The offense is protecting them. But this week, the value to me might be on the under. I think we're getting an inflated number here because of last week's score and the names. We got, two big guns, Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck going, that again, like I said, I look at Green Bay for most of the season. The offense hasn't, been explosive. They've been very pedestrian working down the field, and he's only got one 300-yard passing game. Tony, if you got to take this one, which way you lean it?
Well, I'm fading Indy every week if I can, if the situation calls for it. So absolutely the favorite in Green Bay.
I'm going to lean Green Bay, light lean for me.
All right, I'm going to have a lean to the under in this one. And guys, don't forget, each and every Tuesday at Wager Talk, we pick one capper. We offer his best bet for just $2. If you tuned in this week, Ralph was our $2 capper, and he nailed it. You're off to a great start in the NBA as well, so congrats on that. And check it out each and every Tuesday at Wager Talk. It's $2 Tuesday. You'll get one best bet from one of our cappers for just $2. It's a great way to try a new capper or just introduce yourself to Wager Talk. Check it out each and every Tuesday at Wager Talk. We'll be back with more here at WagerTalk.com.